look at the Telestrator to break down a play.
Yeah, so we're going to look at round number 4. And at this point, Cloud9, they're leading 3-0. So we're going to look. Cloud9 is on defense. Envious is on offense. And as you can see, Envy, they slow down. The reason is Lacefield has been controlling middle map the entire time. So what they do, they decide to slow down. As you can see, all the Envious players, they're just sort of holding towards their base. But Slasher, he decides to watch this flank. And what he's going to do for about 30 seconds is just watch it. Nobody on Cloud9 checks B. Nobody's late flanking. So Slasher, he's going to come up, push through Barn, still take his time, see nobody. Come behind Ricky. Again, at this point, nobody has seen anybody at A. None of Cloud9 rotate. So then, you know, Slasher, he's able to see 1 or 2 players. He picks up a kill on Ricky. What that allows Envious to do, John and Apathy, they're able to come up mid-map. JCap, he's allowed to take a bomb, and then that gives Team Envious the round as they're able to take that offense. And this is just one of those late flank rounds that we talk about. You even saw it in round 11. You know, as soon as Envy wasn't able to see any of that pressure on that A site, they rotate to B just to make sure they don't get that free plant. But nobody from Cloud9 rotates to B. They don't see Slasher. Sometimes it's just it's a free kill, as Slasher had on Ricky, and that gave them a 3-1. You know, it gave them that win, made the score 3-1, and allowed Envious to get back into the game. So a huge play by Slasher and Team Envious to just slow that game down. I hope this helps you guys out. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you very much, Merc. Enjoyed all the telestrations so far this weekend, especially Courageous. Got to give him a bye.
Good, yes.
He might actually just ramble on. He was putting like 5 of every player on the telestrator, but still, you guys have been doing a phenomenal job on the telestrator. I'm sure everyone at home appreciates it. Speaking of everyone at home, make sure you are watching, of course, on MLG Enhanced Viewing Experience. Of course, exclusive to MLG.tv/Call of Duty. Let's learn a little bit more about EVE. Of course, they're a look at EVE. See it in action only on MLG.tv/Call of Duty. You get your up-to-date event statistics, you get the player POVs, and also the score streak prediction game. I know Merc is very talented when it comes to the score streak prediction game, that's for sure, but still plenty of action here on the final day of gameplay for Group Red. 3 more matches coming up, and of course, the next game on main stage, Splyce versus Mindfreak. Can't wait for this one. Can Splyce go unbeaten throughout the day, or can Mindfreak somehow, some way beat the best of Europe? We'll be back after this.
I'm not really sure what to expect against Mindfreak. I don't really know their play style or anything.
For the current team, Splyce, we have been watching a bit. We watched I-60 Birmingham event. Very surprised to see them lose, to be honest with you. I think on paper they're a really good team. MLG Dallas, they showed that they got top 4, so I was definitely expecting them to take out Birmingham.
My teammates have probably played Australians quite a few times, so they know what to expect. But me, myself, I'm not really too sure. Just play my own game.
I believe Splyce are going to be the team to beat this weekend just because they have placed top 4. So I think just from watching them, they have the flashy players like us. You know, all 4 of them play Infinite Warfare the way I believe it should be played, just fast, in your face. Whereas Envy, they've only got 2 to 3 players that play like that. So that's why I think they're going to be really in your face, and I think that's how this game is meant to be played.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the CWL Global Pro League, presented, of course, by the PlayStation 4. It's the final day of Group Red matches here from Week 1 of the GPL. And up next on the main stage is Mindfreak versus Splyce, the very best of Australia versus the very best of Europe. And I actually want to start this conversation off with you. Are you impressed with how Splyce have bounced back, obviously, after that disappointing weekend at CWL Birmingham?
Yeah, most certainly. You know, it takes a lot to do that, and I think I'm not surprised of what they've done to the likes of Cloud9 or Mindfreak taking Series 3-0 and 3-1. It's how they've dealt with their Envious series. You know, we've only seen it once. We've only seen it was on Friday, actually, and it was a 3-1 series. And for me, that was their first game after obviously losing 0-3, 0-3 in Birmingham. And to do that, to me, shows a lot from the team and what they've learned and adapted to. So in answer to your question, yes. However, the weekend is not over just yet, and it can all take a turn for the worse. So I think it is really down to how Mindfreak perform against them now. You know, will we just see Splyce dominate again? You know, go that 6-0 through the weekend. Be interesting to see, but definitely a big confidence boost for these guys.
And as you mentioned, the weekend definitely not over just yet. Of course, this next matchup, Merc, for Splyce is very important. It's not massive. It won't necessarily secure you that #1 spot, but it's definitely going to put you close. I mean, we can take a look now at how the group currently stands. I mean, talk to me a little bit about maybe some potential scenarios we could see.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, if Splyce lose this, then both them and Envious are 4-1, and Envy can just beat them outright. They would finish 5-1. Splyce would finish 4-2. However, if they win this, the pressure's on Envy. I believe because Splyce 3-1 Team Envious, I believe Team Envy has to at least beat them 3-1 to send it towards that tiebreaker. So it puts the pressure on Envy. So, you know, if you're Splyce, you just want to take it one game at a time.
You definitely need to, right?
Absolutely.
That's the way you have to approach it. It's definitely going to be an interesting closing to the evening, that is for sure. But Kamar, from Mindfreak, have you been impressed overall by their playstyle? I know coming across the entire journey, I was going to say the pond, but they went a little further than just a pond. But I think they had a lot of critics. You know, not very many teams even really wanted to scrim them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I am impressed, but at the same time, they're like we're watching an Envy who may not be at the top of their game right now, but we're watching a Splyce who I believe they're definitely better than all 3 teams here, and then a Cloud9 who can't win a map. So I mean, I'm impressed, but at the same time,
hey, they won 2 maps, Carver. Give them some credit.
Oh yeah, 2 maps. Sorry, but really, if they want to be one of the top teams, I feel like they have to do better.
They definitely do. We can now take a look at our maps for the series. Of course, up next on main stage, as I mentioned, Splyce versus Mindfreak. Merc, when you look at this map set, Scorch, Hardpoint, Crusher, Search and Destroy, a Frost Uplink, Retail, Hardpoint, and a Throwback Search if it goes the distance. Is there hope here that Mindfreak could potentially try and steal this, make Envious's life a little bit easier?
I don't think so. I feel like those first 3 maps really help, you know, Splyce a lot. We've seen them play Scorch Hardpoint. They absolutely destroyed Cloud9. Crusher, I've seen them play that many of times. They have a great Crusher, Search and Destroy, so it's going to be tough for Mindfreak.
Well, that is going to be everything from the studio. We can send it down to our fabulous casters. It's going to be Puckett and Mr. X.
Thank you so much, Benson. It's time to party. We're going to see Mindfreak once again, and we talked already about how they've improved. Just being over in Atlanta, boot camping before this weekend. Really, we know they're probably going to finish 3rd overall out of the 4 teams, but this is really good practice leading up to, of course, stage 2 and Anaheim, which is going to be in between it.
Yeah, I still think, obviously, if Mindfreak is going to contend, you know, at Anaheim and, you know, going into stage 2, if they secure that 3rd place spot, which it's really looking right now that they have, they're going to need to come here for an extended period of time, keep playing against North America's best teams. And I think Splyce as well. I think Splyce, you know, regardless of whether they have 1st or 2nd, went out with the guys the other night, just like, hey, like, I don't know if you guys realize this. Like, if you guys win this week and you guys advance the playoffs, like, what is your guys' plan? They're like, well, I guess we'd go home for, you know, maybe a week, and then we come back and we'd find a place and we'd be able to scrim here in North America. You see how dominant they've been in respawn game modes thus far. 100% win rate in Hardpoint, 100% in Uplink. It's really just been the S&Ds where they've been dropping some maps.
And of course, you are going to be compared to all the other teams in the following weeks when it comes to total map count, total series count. A lot of people are going to be kind of taking notice of that. Splyce, their work isn't done yet. They're looking for a big win against Mindfreak. The big fight is going to be at the end of the day, though, against Team Envious. They don't want to give up any maps unnecessarily to Mindfreak here.
Yeah, and the first map is going to be Scorch Hardpoint, and I think for the side of Mindfreak, you're looking how Buzzo plays in their series the other day. Did not get off to a great start in the first Hardpoint. Looking to see on a map like Scorch, you know, very fast-paced, up-in-your-face gameplay, how Buzzo reacts.
And you and I were talking with some of the stats guys in the back leading up to this match, and we asked, all right, they played 2 Hardpoints last time against Splyce. One of them was 250 to 165, the other one 250 to 230. What was the difference maker? It was Buzzo. He dropped only 11 kills in his first Hardpoint. To put this kind of in comparison with what Shox was doing on the same stage, Shox was dropping 438 points a minute. Buzzo was just 189.
Yeah, and they
So
have
less than half.
No, and they have not been good in Hardpoint so far this weekend. 50% win rate in Uplink. Their S&D is really what's kind of carried them through, giving them some map wins against Envious and Splyce thus far. But you know, to contest, really to take series off the top teams in the world, you've got to be better at Hardpoint.
All right, we're going to keep our eyes on Buzzo. In their last matchup, it was all Shox, top of the leaderboard for Mindfreak across all games, basically. Can he do it again? He was fantastic day 1, had a solid day 2. Looking to continue to impress the fans here. Day 3, our first map is going to be Scorch, and we know that Mindfreak loves the ERADs. At times, they're running 3, even 4. Will they pull it out on this map?
Yeah, I remember the, I believe it was a throwback Hardpoint from yesterday where Shock started off with an NV4, they fall behind pretty heavily, and then he switches over to an ERAD and they started to make a comeback. So I think if you're Shocks, I would probably only stick with a K-bar or an ERAD going into this map. Excite is the player for this team you see running ERAD a lot of the time. So I think those will be the SMG players you see potentially for Mindfreak.
Fida also has been playing with the ERAD throughout this weekend. Buzzo, he sticks with the ARs when he can. We're going to start things off here with the Mindfreak squad. And honestly, I'd love to watch Buzzo at the start if we can, Mr. Saint. Let's take a look at the youngster. He talked about Dallas being a terrible tournament for him. Hardpoint was his biggest weakness. He's put a lot of time into it. He definitely showed up bigger in their second matchup versus Splyce and HP. Will he be able to do it again? First fight, and he is just going to get out of dodge as Fida and Excite take control of the point early on.
Well, I think it's with the way that Den's kind of left this Mindfreak team and a lot of the questions around, you know, whether he wanted to play with Buzzo more, whether they wanted to look for another player. I think that's really put kind of a bullseye on Buzzo, and he really kind of highlighted his play because you know, he's been the question mark for this team throughout this year thus far, and it's going to be Mindfreak opening up with a good opening break. They got 20 seconds on the clock here.
Shox picking up 2 here, looking for a third in this streak. A little sloppy, but he does find Jerd. And he is now starting to think about those streaks. 100 points away from his Scarab. If he can get that Bombardment and Trinity Rockets locked in, though. Those will be the difference makers here on the map, especially over at Drill. Fight on your screen, looking for control of the factory, going to pick up Jerd, and now they'll be pushing in.
Yeah, and they're going to try and push through, get control of Turbine. They have 3 players going up against 1 in this area for Splyce, and you see Splyce going to back out. They're going to try and break this together, so a very good opening hard point thus far for Mindfreak. You see Fida just watching this outskirts, knows that there's players going to be contesting from his right and his left. It's going to be Jerd sliding in, able to take him out. It's going to be Splyce picking up the rest of the kills, clearing out Mindfreak.
And that's been their greatest strength, right? The retake strategies that we've seen in Hardpoint, especially the money hills. They have been so consistent all weekend long. I was a bit surprised to see Mad Cat sitting at 0-3. He's been their star player in Hardpoints. If you look at all of their games this weekend, he has been playing lights out, dropping big numbers. At this point, it's Bance on top of the leaderboard for Splyce, though, and they are climbing back on our scoreboard, 49-32 and counting.
Yeah, Bance and Zero have just been extremely consistent throughout the weekend. I feel like time and time again, it's either they're just kind of alternating. One person will have a big game, the other person kind of playing more of the OBJ role. You see Jerd really opening things up. It's going to be exciting, though, here. Able to pick up 2 kills, gets the last remaining seconds on Turbine, and his teammates have the spawns over here for hangers. So you see on the opposite side of the minimap, it's going to be 2 of those arrows inside for Mindfreak, 1 person watching the back. Now Excite trying to get these mid cuts.
Ooh, big transition kill, and Bance is going to win it. That's going to open up the top. Bance is going to look for Shocks. Fida in the feed. Shocks is here as well. And at the end of it all, it is Splyce breaking through once again. Not enough reinforcements in time. Buzzo and Excite dropping too early, too fast.
You see Excite with the ERAD coming through the middle. You see where the ERAD's extremely effective in these close quarter situations, and he's going to wait. Has another teammate there ready to challenge. Excite gets 1, Fida falls, and it's going to be 1v1 here for the hard point. Excite just trying to locate Bance inside the hill, picks him up, but now the reinforcements come from Splyce. It's going to be Jerd picking up a big 2-piece, able to lock it down.
Splyce just running across that sky bridge uncontested. And you're going to see Zero chasing the kills down low. Shocks is going to get out with his life, but it's Splyce who has retaken the lead. They'll pick up the final 5 seconds. Rotation is going down as everyone is going to be moving across the map. As we jump on board with Bance, has pulled out the ERAD, and he is going to fall this time around. Splyce tied score, but it's Mindfreak who should be able to retake the lead unless Zero picks up 3 of them here.
And you see Splyce, they get control of the hard point, but they've done an excellent job of pushing Mindfreak all the way out. You see they're going to spawn in the back by Hanger. It's going to be Excite picking up 2 kills, but it doesn't really do anything. There's no teammates there to push this effectively, so Splyce going to come back off the spawn, making a 4v4 yet again.
I feel like that's a hill that Mindfreak should have held. What went wrong for them there, Matt?
Oh, well, I mean, they get control early, and it's just the kills that come in from Splyce. And then you see Excite, he's still kind of over there. He's able to get 2 kills, but can't just jump in and force those engagements because he has no teammates to back it up. I think those opening kills really just went in Splyce's favor.
3 players over double digits now for Mindfreak. Buzzo struggling at just a 0.5 KD. He was our player we highlighted before the game. He needs to turn up in the second rotation. Splyce starting to pull away now. They have quite a comfortable lead as it goes back to the center of the map. Jerd inside the hard point first with the K-bar in hand.
And this is just a map that you would say does not favor Buzzo, really. I mean, you look at like how the sight lines are made and, you know, just the areas you're going to fight in. It's just really close quarters. A lot of players flying high off the wall runs, a lot of snapping, quick reaction times, and that's just not really Buzzo's strength. A map like Retaliation definitely fits Buzzo's playstyle a little bit more.
Shocks looking for the challenge as Mindfreak has total control. You see Buzzo and Fida with 3 kills in the feed. 3 streak going on for Fida as well, as we'll see if he can unlock any score streak. Shocks is going to use his Scarab. Spots a player up top, but doesn't get any kills. Now he knows all the pressure is coming in. They're weak. Fida gets in the mix as well. Fida and Shocks will clear all 4. Mindfreak still with 10 points to go is going to bring this within 5 before we rotate once again.
Yeah, and Mindfreak making a little bit of a comeback here in our game number 1. You see Buzzo, and I believe that is Excite. They go on the rotation. They get taken out. So as soon as Turbine pops up, that is going to be all in favor of Splyce. And Mindfreak going to need to figure out a way to break into this hill. They're all going to stack that bottom side of your minimap.
Jerd has his payload ready. You saw the FTL jump used yesterday on Retaliation. But really, we're going to keep our eyes on the camo player. Shocks has been devastating when he gets that payload. On the other end, it's Zero always running it. Mad Cat going prone, picking up 1. Jerd has his back as Fida is picked off. Shocks trying to cause some chaos. He's the only one up, though, and he will fall as well. It's going to be Splyce with total control of the turbine. They gave up about 15 points to Mindfreak on the first rotation. This has been all Splyce the second time around.
Yeah, and Mad Cat is on a little bit of a streak here. He's been playing phenomenal on this turbine hill. We're on board with him for a little bit, just bobbing and weaving inside the hard point, able to pick up some kills. We'll see if he can extend that streak here going into the hangar.
We're going to watch the initial fight from the subs, though, as Bance is going to lead the charge. Madcap, player number 5 on your minimap, is working on those streaks, so we'll get to him in a moment. But look at Bance getting the job done. He's on a 3 streak of his own.
Yeah, and just doing fantastic work with the ERAD inside of hangar. 2 players underneath. The players on Mindfreak trying to put a lot of emphasis towards the back of this hard point, and they are not able to break through. Bance with 2 more kills, making that streak 5. Everybody on Splyce on streaks right now.
Look at the numbers here. 21 and 14 from Bance, 13 and 10 from Madcat. You got Jordan 0 at even in the teens. Mindfreak simply not getting anything done here, and an 8 streak out of Madcat. He's going to be fully streaked out.
I mean, it's an 8 streak out of Madcat, a 3 streak out of 0, a 5 streak out of Bance. I mean, Splyce just absolutely dominating the kill feed right now. Mindfreak just cannot pick up any kills here against Splyce, and Splyce have blown this game open.
I mean, you only lost 0, but other than that, I feel like you're on a 22-1 run. Domination coming in here from Splyce. Madcat is going to hold on to the drill. No one to even contest, and might as well pull out the bombs.
It's been insane. I mean, Madcat has been on this same streak since Turbine. It's lasted all the way pretty much through Turbine, in towards Hangar, and still going here on Drill. He's going to finally fall there. But a 10 streak from Madcat really started to dominate this game 1.
Which is kind of funny, because you think about it, he started off 6 and 10 before that 10 streak. Taking over the second half of the game, remember, it was tied at 70. And in the end, it's going to be 250 to 127 as they lock it in officially. Splyce dominant again in hardpoint.
Madcat shows up in a big way. Cannot stress it enough. He was dominant over the last 3 hardpoints. We saw Bance inside of Hangar picking up kills with the ERAD. Just way too much firepower for Mindfreak to handle, and this is where it gets interesting. Going into the S&D, if you do not see Mindfreak take this map, Splyce has been undefeated in respawn game modes throughout the weekend. This looks like it could be a 3-0.
You know, we kind of give a lot of love to Madcat for having that impressive double-digit streak, but I felt like Bance was truly the MVP. He's the one doing the up-close work. The Hangar, he was so effective. You saw him in transitions quite a bit with the ERAD. He can do it all, and he was doing it with the SMG this time around.
Yeah, you could say that. I think, though, Madcat for me, I mean, he goes on that streak in Turbine, allows his teammates to pretty much go to the opposite side of the minimap. I mean, Bance cannot play that position without Madcat holding that down single-handedly. So I think for me, I got to say Madcat in that game 1. He was just fantastic.
All right, we all love Splyce, and talking to Mindfreak, they said this is the most dangerous team. They have 4 incredibly individually talented players, as well as the ability to just take over the game at any time. Let's look at our next game, though, as we head into Search and Destroy. Here's a look at your top 10 leaderboard. Out of the 16 players, Splyce has 3 in the top 10, with Bance topping it all at a 1.5, almost 2 plants a game, and involved in some defuses.
Yeah, and you've seen Shocks in pretty much every leaderboard we've thrown up here. He's been fantastic for Mindfreak throughout the weekend, so look to see those 2 players go at it.
Search and Destroy is coming up next. Keep your eyes on Shocks when it comes to S&D. On the other end, 0 making the camo plays. Will he do it once again? If you look back at the games that Mindfreak has taken over teams like Splyce and Envy, it is the Search. 2 searches and 1 uplink.
Yeah, and I believe on that leaderboard, I mean, right now our top 3 teams here are Splyce, Mindfreak, and Envious, and all 3 of the camo players are up there. You had, I believe it was Shocks up at number 2, you had Slasher in there, and 0 up there as well. So it just shows you how important it is to get that camo in a player's hands that you know is going to be consistent, especially in Search and Destroy, and you have 2 of the best going at it in this game number 2.
If you just watched the last series, it went to a game 5, round 11. Some really good S&Ds there. This is, of course, going back to Crusher. And so far, we've seen a whole lot of B plants, a few A plants. What are you expecting between these 2 teams after playing each other in Search and Destroys? Who's going to have the advantage at which site?
Oh, well, I mean, everybody kind of goes towards the outside site. You're going to see maybe Mindfreak try and push in towards that inside bomb site, really close quarters. But I think that's kind of where you'll see maybe Mindfreak try and throw them off a little bit. I mean, everybody goes towards the outside bomb site. That's where you're going to see most of the action take place. A lot of players trying to hit that inner wall run, and then players trying to get behind the box to get bombed down. But Mindfreak the other day, we saw them go on throwback over towards the top side, over towards that barn where we don't see a lot of the bombs go down and catch some teams off guard. So maybe we see them do a little bit of an inside plan here.
We'll see if they mix it up. Mindfreak has been using the most unique strategies in Search and Destroy so far. Everyone else playing pretty vanilla sets of S&D strats. We take a look at the rigs, and of course, it's same old, same old. The Centurions, of course, going to be thrown down at B most likely.
Yeah.
Those are always hidden in the corner, trying to stop a camo player who would want to flood in, or anyone trying to slide a gun.
The Centurion is an interesting one for me. You really don't see it make much of an impact in Search and Destroy. I really haven't seen it make much of an impact in a lot of the game modes, to be quite frankly. I think it's an ability that I think players just kind of go towards. There's not really much great uses for it. You saw Cloud9, they tried to have Ricky drop it on the flank there on throwback and try and bait Envy into kind of going into it potentially with their camo. Didn't work. I don't know how you're going to see great Centurion use on this map. I think it's if you get it and you can figure out a way to use it, great, but I think it's kind of obviously not as powerful as a reactive armor or active camo.
Yeah, I feel like FTL jump maybe 1 in 10 attempts, you're going to have a sick play. Camo, you're kind of expecting you to make it 8 out of 10.
Well, I think FTL can be used in like numerous ways, right? I mean, you can use it to like kind of get out of harm's way. You can use it like JCap used it to get back
to the
bomb site. So I think FTL, outside of trying to use it in a gunfight, really throw somebody's aim off, has a lot of different uses.
Reactive armor, always important as well. We'll keep our eyes on the payloads as S&D loads up. Last time around, we saw Bance feeling confident and running sniper rifle at times over at the B bomb site. This time around, they're going up close and personal as he's going to lead the charge with the SMG, and it looks like he's just baiting, trying to hear some noise. Has a teammate with him to the left, and 3 opponents right next to him. Gets first blood on Fida.
Yeah, and he's going to get out of harm's way, knows he's tagged up. Zero actually team kills Jerd there, so even things up for Mindfreak as they get kind of fortunate there. If Bance maybe, does not get that weak, he probably picks up a second kill there.
And Bance is playing ring around the rosy with Excite. Excite is right behind him. There's the gunfight, and Excite will give the man advantage to Mindfreak. The Australians with 3 going up against just Mad Cat and Zero here for Splyce.
We'll see how Splyce decides to play this. It's going to be Shocks taking out Mad Cat, and now Zero left in a 1v3. Looks like a round that Mindfreak should be able to close out. Zero gets a lot of shots in one player mid-map, not able to finish him off. And now Mindfreak knows exactly where he's going. Doesn't matter where he's going.
How did Excite survive those shots right there? Excite getting the job done up close. And at the end, I thought Zero may have a chance because he has the bomb, but Buzzo is so quick to react, chasing him down.
Yeah, they knew exactly where he was going. Buzzo already gets a little bit of a head start, but you did have a team kill come in there from Zero in round number 1. For Splyce, obviously a rare occurrence. Not going to be intending to kill your teammates.
Sorry for the grenade, Jerd. Hold this.
So yeah, you expect Splyce to kind of bounce back here, potentially take this defensive round.
All 4 are going to hit B. It looks like Splyce, though, is on the loop around. They sent 1 player middle. That was Mad Cat, who is in charge of watching the mid cross. And it looks like he could come on the flank as our first 2 players in position. Shocks takes care of Jerd right away and will find Bance. Shocks, we talked about how good he is in search, picks up 2 before falling.
Now Buzzo. He's getting pinched from both sides. Mad Cat's going to be pushed all the way back, though. That's a very good play by Mindfreak, not letting Mad Cat get in position to potentially trap them in on the site. Mindfreak wins yet another round.
Mindfreak looking strong to start this one off. Will they be able to close it? 2-0 here. And now we'll see back on the attack. What's the game plan here for Splyce?
Oh, well, I mean, you went over towards the A bomb site 1 round, did not exactly work out. You had to rotate over, but you did have a team kill. So we did see Splyce the other day. They ran the sniper rifle over towards the B bomb site, trying to get towards that outskirts like I was talking about in the pregame. But I think you're down 2-0. I don't know if this is a round you want to mess around, bring the sniper out.
Buzzo is going to lead the charge here. And he has all 3 teammates right behind him. They are going to clash all at once. The slide behind the rock. And the first pick goes to Bance, but Mindfreak answers back with 3 of the kills, and they will find the 4th. Very fast interaction over at B as both teams just colliding, looking for the gunfights.
Well, look, I mean, Mindfreak needs to take this map, and even if they do take it, they need to figure out a way that no other team has figured out and how to beat Splyce in a respawn game mode going forward. Mindfreak comes into this one favored in the search and destroy, taking care of business.
There's a look at Fida on your screen. It's Mindfreak on the attack, and they're going to give Fida the bomb. He's working towards these streaks, 25 away from the Scarab. And Excite is involved with the first kill. They take out Zero. Jerd is going to trade out too, so it's a 2-on-2 now. Fida and Buzzo up against Madcat and Bance. Madcat still looking for his first kill. Buzzo is on the flank, and Fida is getting chased by both players inside.
Yeah, and the guys on Mindfreak need to get closer together. You see how far away they are from one another. It looks like Buzzo trying to clear out that back, going on a flank. Fida just trying to stay alive here, and now that they've cleared it out, Splyce has no idea where the players on Mindfreak are, and we're going to see the bomb go down.
Splyce went over to check B, but now they know the bomb all the way across the map over at A. The defenders can set up anywhere with the amount of time it's going to take to get into position. Madcat falling directly behind Bance. And they are running the opposite direction of Mindfreak. Mindfreak just looped around the middle, did not see anyone, and will be returning to the bomb at any moment. But again, they're playing pretty spread out. Are they in a position to trade here? Looks like Bance is going to somehow kill Madcat. One bullet lands on a teammate, and now he's got to pull off the 1v2. Doesn't have enough time to get the defuse. This is a Mindfreak round.
I don't know how the hell he killed Madcat there. Just one bullet into him. Bance takes out Buzzo at the end. Not enough time, though, to get back towards the bomb. And it'll be 4-0 rounds in favor of MF.
Mindfreak's looking pretty good here. Looking at Momo, he's smiling on the desk, nodding his head.
Momo's always smiling. I don't know why. I mean, we'll kind of berate Momo with insults, and he just sits there and smiles. It's just incredible.
I think
he's one of my favorite Europeans. I would probably say Momo, like number 5 or 6, and then there's a few other people I would put ahead of him.
Like Zero?
Ben, no, I completely forget that Ben is from Europe.
No, we've adopted him. He's American now.
Yeah, Ben's probably around 7.
Bance and the other Europeans picking up kills. It's Bance and Zero making it now a 2-on-4. Zero is going to find Buzzo after the snipe lands. And it's all up to Shocks in a 1v3.
We'll see if Splyce can get their first round win on the board. It's going to be Shocks getting one. He's quickly cleaned up. So you do see Splyce taking their first round. Search and Destroy is the one game mode this team really needs to work on. I know we've seen them in the past. Dallas, they were actually quite good in the S&Ds. We saw, some misplays against Optic Gaming, misplay with Reactive Armor, on that throwback S&D in that Game 5. But, other than that, I mean, Zero's always been a pretty strong player in S&D. Same with Madcat and Jordan.
What do you think's going wrong for them so far in this game in particular?
I mean, this game you've seen a lot of weird plays. I mean, Zero team kills at the first round. You saw Bance take out Madcat there in a 2v2 situation. I know some timings, right? I mean, you see players cross and they just don't get the vision. And 3 quick kills in favor of Mindfreak. Bance just trying to get out of the way with the sniper rifle. This is going to be...
Oh, he's going to clutch this, Matt.
Near impossible to do.
He's definitely got it with the pistol. 1.
Nope. Yeah, almost impossible there.
It's not going to happen. No.
5 rounds for Mindfreak here. Looking very good in S&D. Splyce just not their strongest effort here in game number 2.
Now we should call out that Mindfreak was in this position before. Will they allow it to get to a round 11, or will they be able to close the door here on Splyce? Mindfreak looking for their 3rd S&D win in the weekend, and we're going to start things off here with Shock. Shock sitting at 7-3, continuing to impress with that KD, currently number 2 on the overall S&D leaderboard. This would put him above Bance, who's at 7-6. And we're going to see it's coming down to a 1 versus 2. Madcat and Jerd going up against just Fida here.
And Fida does have reactive armor. Potentially, if he sees both players in this situation, MF are up by so many rounds that you can afford to burn a reactive here potentially and trying to clutch a 1v2, because you do have the active camo and you do see him use the reactive armor, but it's going to be Jerd getting out of the way. So a very smart play there by Jerd.
Payload burned, but he's able to pick up a kill. 1 versus 1. Jerd has found the bomb. Plenty of time to work with here. And Jerd is going hunting. Finds Fida, but Fida unable to finish the kill despite some great positioning. And Jerd is just going to be running around the map. Says, you know what? Come to me, buddy. I'm throwing it down at A. Fighta is going to have to react at any moment.
And now Jur does have the FTL jump, so this is an ability you could use in a 1v1 type of situation. Get it at an odd angle, but it's going to be Fighta coming through that top staircase, able to pick up an easy kill, and it'll be Mindfreak taking map number 2.
Fighta 8-4, Shocks 8-4. Fighta on the bomb 4 times in that game. Looking so strong here in Search and Destroy. His Mindfreak on day 3. They got pretty much just wiped off the map in the first part of the hard point. Now coming back, we're going into a game 3, and the uplink that they stole was against Envy yesterday. Can they do it again?
Look, nobody has beaten Splyce in a respawn game mode thus far. They did not look close to dropping that game number 1. You expect Splyce to come out hot in this game number 3. I think if you're Mindfreak, you probably have a better chance of beating them in the hard point than you do the uplink. So I think if you're Mindfreak, you go into this uplink, try and put forth your best effort, and I think you really kind of buckle down for that game 4.
It's kind of hard to get hyped for this game. I feel like the players are really relaxed, but if Mindfreak wins this next uplink, Matt, I'm going to lose my stuff here. Last time around, it was 10-1, Splyce dominating them.
And look, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the same type of result in this next game, but I think Mindfreak, look, they've definitely proved that they're a team that's improving from day to day here at the Global Pro League. Would not be shocked if they make it a little bit closer.
All right, Splyce is currently sitting at the top at number 1 seed for the week, and Mindfreak at number 3. We'll find out, though, who is going to take the lead in this best of 5 when we return from the commercial. Welcome back. It's time to take a look at our G Fuel key player matchup for game number 3. It's going to be between Mad Cat from Splyce and Buzzo representing Mindfreak.
And you see for Mad Cat, he's been great in hardpoint and search and destroy throughout the weekend. Uplink is where he's faltered a little bit. And surprisingly, Buzzo, that's really where he shined for this Mindfreak team, in uplink. Playing even, nothing too outstanding, but he just has not hurt him throughout the time.
That's your G Fuel key player matchup. Keep your eyes on these two as we head into our next game 3.
Greatest moment in my Call of Duty career has got to be second place. It's COD Champs. Even though it's only a second place, it was the one thing that's motivated me to carry on now. It was my first proper year competing as an over 18, and it was very successful, I'd say, and so it's motivated me to carry on playing and carry on proving everyone wrong.
Welcome back. We're in between games here. Game number 3 loading up right now between Splyce and Mindfreak. After a dominant performance from Splyce in hardpoint, we saw Mindfreak throw it right back at the Europeans. 6-1 on Crusher.
Yeah, they were great in search and destroy, but Splyce has been undefeated in respawn game modes throughout the weekend. And Bance, we take a look at his greatest moment there. He gets second last year at COD Champs. He's been great to kind of get to know and see as he's kind of progressed. I feel like, since that moment in time, he's kind of like opened up a little bit. You see him joking around a bit in the venue, getting to know him a little bit better. I think he's definitely one of the brightest young stars in all of Europe.
Oh, absolutely. He's had an incredible year and a half. And to think about how he closed out his Black Ops 3 year, it's a fantastic thing to just see him transition now into this new game. You finished second to close out Black Ops 3. Now you're in the running for top 4 globally. You had Splyce already in the top 4, and Bance is really the only guy that was on that top 2 team last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's the only holdover from that Splyce roster. You had Josh, but obviously Josh leaves the team. You have Zero come in. I think you've just put together probably the best roster Europe could. Just in terms of talent and the way they play against the North American teams, this is the roster that is best equipped to win an international event.
Bance talking it over with Mad Cat and Jerd. What is the game plan here as we head into Uplink Frost? We saw Bance pulling out that ERAD in the first game on Scorched. I expect him to be running one of the SMGs. Jerd likely going to be running a second. If you see a third to counter the 3 SMGs are coming from Mindfreak, who do you want to see it from? Is it Mad Cat or potentially Zero here?
You're going to see it from Zero, if anything. I think you keep the AR in Mad Cat's hands. He's been an AR throughout his whole Call of Duty career. I think you put Zero with an ERAD in his hands if you do go with 3. I think you'll definitely see Jerd with 1. Plays at a really fast pace, so I think that's the one kind of lock you have on the side of Splyce.
And we saw JCap just a few moments ago on the same map dropping huge bombs with a K-bar, so all guns can be used on this map. Who is going to be more efficient? We're about to find out. It looked like the SMGs were getting the job done in S&D. Mindfreak looking to take the lead here in the best of 5, but they'll have to get through this man first.
Yeah, now Zero has not been fantastic in uplink so far, but just like his teammate Mad Cat, the hardpoint in S&D is really where they've shined. I know Jerd has been actually really strong for Splyce in uplink. I remember the other day, leads them in kills, leads them in scores. Look for Jerd to have a big game here on Frost.
We'll keep our eyes on Jerd. Game is loading up. Splyce going up against Mindfreak. So far, Splyce is perfect on the weekend at 4-0. Trying to extend their match record to 5-0 and their second win over the Australians. As we head to Frost, though, let's talk big picture. If you're going to win the game, if you're Mindfreak, the underdogs and the respawns, how do you get it done on this map in particular?
Well, look, you're going to need Buzzo to show up. I think Frost is a very difficult map for slower AR players. I know a lot of the guys in North America, top AR players, this is one that they kind of dread because of all the ERADs on the map. They get up in your face. I think the side of Splyce, they can put a ton of pressure on Mindfreak, just really kind of going at Buzzo time and time again. So I think if Buzzo can hold strong for MF, they can stay in this game.
Brian Saint says Jerd's the man to watch. Let's see what he can do for Splyce. 2 players going outside, 2 will be pressing the middle, and it's Zero and Mad Cat all with E-Rads in the kill feed. 4 E-Rads coming out for Splyce. Already, Jerd is going to be looking to lock in the spawns. The drone is moving up, but they just lost 2 players. Fight and Excite trying to play D. Jerd trying to pick up the 3-piece.
And you don't see this quite often with 4 E-Rad players at the beginning of a game, but this is a map that you can definitely do it on. It's going to be Jerd picking up a final kill there, and he throws it in for a 1-point score. So, with Splyce getting 4 dead, not able to convert that into points, but Jerd hanging around in the Mindfreak base, able to pick up a kill, get a 1-point playthrough.
Zero has done that a time or two. Unfortunately, jumps right up into the bullets of Shox. Meanwhile, Jerd trying to take control of research once again. Bance is going to go back for the drone. Player right behind him is looking for the cutoffs. Jerd, too wise, is going to pick up Buzzo in rotation, and now Bance has a chance. His teammates all setting up to get the spawn kills, but it's Fida getting first blood on defense. He did it the first time around, held him to just 1 point. Can they hold strong again? Drone is on the ground, and at the end of it all, unless Zero goes huge, it's going to be another strong defensive stand from MF.
Yeah, Zero there tried to pick up 1 kill, get the drone, and throw it through just like Jerd did, but there's 1 player by Mindfreak in the back of the base just staying alive for a long time there. You do see this 4 E-Rad coming out from Splyce, and you have Buzzo still running the K-bar, but you see just not able to be aggressive with that assault rifle in his hands. You potentially need to maybe see him pull out an E-Rad of his own.
And that drone was not a dunk. The player was killed as it dropped in. So it was Bance throwing it up, 2 points to nothing though. Splyce with the lead. And you hear the communication now coming in from Splyce. They're playing with so much energy here. Mindfreak initially won the fight in the middle of the map. A team kill is going to slow Splyce down. And Mindfreak is looking for control of their opponent's base for the first time in this game. Shox could loop behind 3 players.
Yeah, there's nobody there to help him. I mean, his teammates are all the way back towards mid-map or in his base, so Shox just trying to figure out where they're going to go with the drone and try and get these cutoffs quick. And he's going to get cut down the middle of the map by Jerd, but see, the aggression from Splyce here early has really paid off. It seems like Mindfreak cannot get any type of map control. They can't get drone control. It's been really difficult for them to deal with.
It's hard to score when you're not getting kills, and Jerd is playing lights out. Last time in Uplink, he was their rock star. I believe he finished with 27 kills, 7 points. This time, he's jumping out 11-6, open things up with the initial toss. Shox gonna get this drone away from 2 players from Splyce, looking for the kills. It's Jerd winning it in the air.
Yeah, and that was a smart play there by Shox. The drone in a position where Splyce could potentially have made a play if they pick up some more kills. Gets it out of harm's way, but Buzzo still sticking with the K-bar here. Gonna put some shots down inside, but you see, once the Splyce players get close, I mean, Buzzo really has no chance of winning those up-close fights with the K-bar.
Bance flying high and drops right behind Buzzo, who never saw him coming. Drone is gonna be making its way to the perimeter. Excite looking for defenders. There's no one there. Splyce is so pushed up on the map. They're controlling sub. And maybe this is where you just need to no longer play inside against those 4 E-Rads if you're Mindfreak. Can you get the job done from the perimeter of the map?
I mean, you can, but it's a route that you really don't see many teams take, and especially when going over towards Helipad, because it just leaves you even more open area you have to cover if you're Mindfreak. So Mindfreak, not really able to get anything going thus far. Now they have drone control. They're trying to bring it inside, but you see Splyce going to beat him to the punch.
Shox on your screen. They're all-star. Currently sitting at even, looking for a pick. Defenders set up all around. They've spotted one at the end of the robo base. Shox is going to take down Bance. Now they push through for a second. Shox leading the charge. No points yet. Excite will trade out with Zero, but that drone is on the ground. They got to scoop. They got to go for the dunk here to tie it up, and they will. It's Buzzo dunking it in. 2-2 with 42 seconds to go. Despite the map control, the kill control of this game, Mindfreak's still in it, Matt.
Yeah, it was a fantastic play by Excite there towards the end on a 3 streak, able to pick up the kills after Shox falls. Leads the way for Buzzo to put in that 2-point play, and with 25 seconds left, Mindfreak tying it up here. Be huge if they can go into the second half with this score tied. It looked like a first half that was completely dominated by Splyce. We see Mindfreak go on a run there towards the end.
And good play by Jerd, out shooting Excite will keep him to just the Scarab. Jerd on your screen, working on score streaks of his own. And he is gonna be going up for the toss. Not gonna happen. Madcap picked up 2, but at the end of it all, the drone is gonna get tossed off. It's reset 2-2 at half. All tied up, we'll switch sides and go at it again.
It is all tied up. You do have to take into the account that Splyce played a fantastic 4 minutes and 30 seconds. It was like a 30, 45-second run there from Mindfreak that gives them that 2-point play. They just need to come alive here in the second half. You had some good plays by Excite and Shocks, which led to the 2-point play from Buzzo.
And this is probably the preferred side for Buzzo to play from. Locking down Robo with the AR may be a little bit easier.
On the defensive end, yeah.
Than it was trying to defend from the left side of your map. We are going to start things off, though, with Bance. And Bance will fall over to Fida from Mindfreak. He finds 3 players in the center, picks up 1, tags up a second, finds the kill on Jerd. And Fida is playing incredible. 15th kill for him. Shocks trying to push out of research, finds Bance and Mad Cat, so the 2-piece, the drone, the beat down, and now he's moving.
Yeah, and he's got a teammate in support here if he can get all the way through. They're trying to bait players all the way over towards Excite. Excite gets 1. Shocks not able to get off the 1-point throw. It's going to be a big 2-piece from Jerd there to hold on the defensive end from Splyce.
And Fida had a chance. Drone was still on the ground, but honestly, too many defenders nearby. Splyce clears it. They're going to keep it in their hands as they run around the cliffs. Only 1 defender up there. It's Excite. Now you're going to see the rotation by Buzzo, but Excite's been picked here. Splyce just roaming as a squad. 3 of them there escorting the drone.
Yeah, Mad Cat leading the charge, able to get 1, and they're going to try and muscle their way through. It's going to be a 1-point play there. Zero probably would have been able to get the 2. Settles for the 1 there. I just don't want to kind of go into that situation and not end up with any points.
Looks like a bit of a panic toss. But Zero survives after the score. He's got sub control. His teammates rotating for the new drone, and anyone who runs through Robo, Zero is shutting him down. Finally, Shocks comes on the back end, and Shocks, he was pretty quiet, 8-8 at the half, now 18-14. Doing work here on side 2. Buzzo is gonna find Bance as Excite goes for the drone. Drone is down, it's inside Splyce's base, but again, the defense will hold.
It's Mad Cat picking up a few kills here. As you see, it's going to be Shocks using that Scarab, trying to just weaken some of the players up top. Not able to get anything with that score streak. The drone going back towards mid-map. It's actually going to be passed forward to Bance, and Bance taking it towards that top side of the mini-map, throws it over the top, and you see players coming through the middle here on Shocks' screen from Splyce. Splyce trying to convert a score here.
I like the positioning there by Shocks. Unfortunately, he is going to get picked while trying to jump out the window. The good news is Excite is there. Zero stop, drone is in their hands. They should be able to push this one up. Only 1 defender inside, and they're going to find him. Zero is holding strong, coming off the new spawn. Shocks is going to be looking for him.
With 2 minutes and 25 seconds to go, Mindfreak down 1. In this second half, they have not really gotten much drone control. It's really just been a fight in this inside hangar. You know, you've seen Splyce put a lot of pressure on the MF base, but this is a lot like the first half. You know, Mindfreak only really got things going for the later half of the game, so we'll see if they can kind of bounce back. They do have the payload abilities starting to come up.
And when you watch Splyce attacking in the first half, they always kind of wrapped it around here, the research side. Mindfreak, they've been trying to force it through the sub, and I'd like to see maybe go for a wall run, go for some 1-point tosses. Fida has a player right behind him, Mad Cat, stopping him at the 10-yard line. Excite can't get to the drone, 3 down, and there goes the overdrive. Mad Cat's trying to push this one up quick.
Yeah, and Mindfreak actually got a 3 dead there. They pick up the drone, just not able to convert it into any points. Mad Cat gets the drone out of a position where potentially one of the players from Mindfreak coming off spawn could have picked it up and got in for a 1-point play.
Now, Matt, I do want to talk about the payloads. We saw overdrive being used by Mad Cat, but keep your eyes on Shocks. He's about 2 kills away from earning himself a camo, and a camo dunk could be the game changer. Here comes Mindfreak. The toss goes in, and it's actually the dunk. 2 points for Shocks. He should have his camo as well. They could pile on the points here in the final minutes. It's Mindfreak with the lead.
Yeah, Shocks comes over the top, and he's able to put in a big dunk there for Mindfreak. With a minute to go, Mindfreak up 1. You see all the kills, though, going in favor of Splyce, and they're bringing this drone towards that top side. Potentially, you could see a 1-point throw over the building, or they could try and muscle this in for 2. You see, with the way they're going, they have 1 player in the back of Helipad. They're going to settle for the 1-point play to tie the game up.
It all goes back to Zero's toss instead of a dunk. It would have been Splyce up 5-4. Instead, we have a tie game, 40 seconds to go, payloads to work with. This is Mindfreak's game to lose.
We'll see how they play this at the end of the game. Splyce has drone in hand. They do not have any payload abilities up right now. You see Excite, Shocks, and Buzzo with everything pretty much for MF. It's going to be Jerd getting the drone in his hands for Splyce. He's going to get cut down. If you're Mindfreak, you need to get the drone into Shox' hands. You have it in Buzzo's with overdrive, but Shox with that camo can put in an easy 1-point play.
Second pass opportunity. Here comes the camo Shox. He's tagged up. Camo, it's put down. They know he's on the wall. Both players jumping up. The double kill. The putback not in time. Too strong is the defense. The interception at the last second. I thought they were going to get the rebound, Matt, but the buzzer is going to hit.
Yeah, we can see it here at the end. I believe it's actually one of the players from Splyce who actually picks up the drone inside like an interception and actually throws it back. And if there's more time on the clock, they potentially throw it back to Excite, who's on the wall run. Excite could have thrown it in for a 1-point play.
Look at Buzzo using the overdrive right away, though. They are going for a quick hit. Is this going to work out, or is it a wasted payload? He survives, but they lose Fida. All of Splyce drops back. They're chasing after the drone. Mindfreak trying to up the tempo. Buzzo with a big 2-piece. The reset's going to put the drone back outside, and it's in control of Bance. Or is it? Zero doesn't reset it. He holds on for now.
Yeah, and he's going to tag up Fida. It's going to be Jerd there to clean up that kill. You see the push coming in from Splyce. It's going to be 2 dead. Make it 3 dead for Splyce. Zero still somehow alive with the drone in hand. It's going to get intercepted, though, by Fida. Mindfreak with a nice defensive stand.
The guys at the desk are standing up here in overtime. This game's so much better than we expected. The last time they matched up, it was 10-1 in favor of Splyce. Now an even game, a minute off the clock. Mindfreak has used 3 of their payloads. Fida about to earn his reactive armor, but they lost Buzzo. Zero only man up here for Splyce. Is just buying time, running around the walls. Players above looking for him. Shox will finally pick up the kill. The drone is going to reset, though, in the middle of the map, and here's where Splyce is fortified.
Yeah, Zero just trying to burn time there. None of his teammates in position to help him. That's going to be 3 dead. Make it all 4 dead for Splyce. It's going to be Buzzo passing it up to Shox, and it's going to be a 2-point play. A minute and 25 on the clock, but I do believe if you are Splyce, I think Zero does have his camo going into this second half.
Gotta be afraid of the camo always in this objective game mode. Nice work, though, by Mindfreak. After the failed first attempt, they stuck with it, Matt. They got the kills. Excite, Fida, and Shox all combining as they got 4 down to close it out. Nice pass, good finish. And it's going to be about 85 seconds to work with here if you're Splyce.
See how they decide to get this into, oh man, Jerd with a fantastic kill there with the FTL. I was going to say, how do you get into Zero's hands? You get a 3 down right off the bat. You have him just follow up, pick the drone up here.
Is there a defender here to stop the dunk? No! 22 seconds is all it took. Splyce wins all of the opening gunfights. Jerd catching opponents off guard, and they are going to finish strong.
I mean, Zero, he only needed a sliver more to get active camo. He needed a point to put himself over the top, like a kill. He doesn't even need it. I mean, he just picks up the drone after Jerd with a fantastic use of FTL jump at the beginning. Bance with some more kills in the feed. They bring it in for a 2-point play with only 22 seconds. Splyce still remains undefeated in Respawn game modes.
They keep their crown, man. Undefeated in Respawn. They haven't dropped a hard point, and they remain perfect in uplink so far. But we're going to a game for another hard point will be coming up next. Before we get to that, Matt, let's talk a little bit about this game. At the first half, it looked like this was going to be a one-sided affair. It was all Splyce for your first 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, and then Mindfreak comes back with a very good push towards the later part of the first half of our game, and then they tie it up there towards the end of the second half with that 1-point play from Shox. But I mean, you just saw actually when Shox is going for the one at the end, the final one. I would love to see if TP is going to like to break that down, but he throws it in. It gets picked up, I believe, by Jerd, and then Jerd actually tosses it back, but Excite is coming on the wall run. It's super rare, and he actually picks the drone up, maybe able to get another attempt at a 1-point play if there was some more time on the clock. That would have been absolutely insane.
The defense too strong, and Splyce can punish so quickly, as you saw in overtime. Let's take a look at our box score from game number 3. It's Splyce retaking the lead, as your final score is 6-6, but they scored faster on that stopwatch overtime. Jerd continues to impress, 33 kills, 2 scores, including that opening shot. Shox, He's living up to the hype this weekend. Another 34 kills scored in this uplane.
Yeah, to be quite honest, I can't really remember a game that I've seen Shox play poorly. I mean, we've been sitting in the back of the green room watching all the games throughout the weekend. Can't really recall one where I have not seen Shox on this box score for Mindfreak, but we talked a little bit about it. We highlighted Mad Cat. We talked about Zero. Jerd has been great for Splyce and Uplink all weekend.
Splyce, so dangerous. All 4 players can go off at any time. Jerd, he's one of the best when it comes to the objective play as well, as you just saw. They are now on match point heading into our final hard point here between Mindfreak and Splyce. First one, pretty much a blowout, but that's what happened the first time they matched up. The second one was decided by just 30 points. So it's all coming down to the map here, Matt.
Yeah, and I think Mindfreak, look, we keep kind of talking about time and time again, it'll be retaliation hardpoint. So this one actually bodes well for Buzzo. It's one that's very long over on the bridge side. You have that lower market to plat area to fight from. I think if there was one map you can get away with a slower AR player, somebody more traditional, Buzzo can definitely do some nice things on this map.
We'll see how it all plays out. 15 seconds still to go. Fida seems to be warming up. Will all 3 of them be able to put the pressure back on Splyce? You know Buzzo's going to be playing that slow roll, but take a look at some of these numbers. When it comes to hardpoint, Shox has been the best out of all 16 players with a 1.19. Not only that, he adds 70 seconds of hill time to his squad. The only other Mindfreak player on this list is Fida, below that 1-point mark.
Yeah, and you do see Mad Cat up there in number 2. Very impressive, a 1.12 KD, 81 in terms of hill time.
And I wonder if that Scorch map helped pad the stats, because he was all over those hills, including that 10-point run.
He's usually kind of like their last line of defense, like they'll push everybody else out, and he'll kind of be there just trying to defend off the hill one by one. And see, this will be the matchup going into hardpoint. Can Shox get Mindfreak a respawn game mode win to force a game 5? Which going into the S&D, you would definitely favor Mindfreak, which would throw today on its head. I mean, we probably expected Envy to beat Cloud9 at the beginning of the day. I don't think anyone would have predicted Mindfreak to force a game 5, potentially take a series here against Splyce.
Absolutely, no one thought Mindfreak even really had a chance here in this week 1. If you looked on Twitter,
Joe DeLuca did.
Everyone's saying,
but nobody believed Joe DeLuca did.
Merc did it. No one else on my timeline had Mindfreak finishing 3rd or above. Everyone thinking that the North Americans and the top European team should be able to take this with ease. Mindfreak really impressing a lot of folks this week. And we're going to start things off with Mindfreak's Excite. And he's actually pulled out the NV4, quite a different weapon from the ERAD he's been running the last few games.
Oh yeah, on this map, I mean, just the sight lines are so long. You're not going to be able to see somebody run an ERAD, especially over on this first bridge hardpoint. It'll be Splyce getting control. Vance pushes up forward. You see even Vance running the NV4 here. Just look at how long range the engagements are. The NV4, perfect weapon on the first hardpoint.
K-Bar's out for everyone else on Splyce, it seems. Zero on your screen. Did a loop-de-loop to finish off that 4-kill spree already. He's thinking about some streaks, Matt.
We'll see if he's able to earn them here. Just putting in a lot of shots on the players across bridge. He knows he has one coming to his left. Not able to win that fight. Fida comes on the outskirts and 0 streak.
Nice job by Fida. Not only does he pick up 0, he finds 2 more. Jerd and Mad Cat are cleared, but there's only 10 points remaining on the bridge. So Fida is going to soak up that time with Shox. The rotation is going down. We're at the lower street. Mindfreak is in it first. Fida so fast to get across the map to help out Excite.
In the lower market, you can get a ton of time here, but it's really all about that rotation over to Graveyard. It'll be our 3rd hardpoint. See the players from Mindfreak spawning in that top market. They need to secure that hotel, so the players on Splyce cannot push all the way past them. But Splyce, still with the assault towards the lower market, still a ton of time to be had here.
Just as we touched on Buzzo struggling in game 1, we should highlight him again. He will be the difference maker if Mindfreak can stay with Splyce toe-to-toe the entirety of a hardpoint. Buzzo has to play consistently. To open things up, it's Mindfreak doubling up their opponent's score. They've got control of the lower bridge, but the big hills 3 and 4 are coming up next. Splyce will challenge for the last 10 seconds, and they should be able to soak up that time, but Mindfreak fully set up here for the Cathedral.
Yep, Shox gets in position early. The rest of his teammates spawn up with him. It'll just be whether Mindfreak can pick up the kills. A very nice spot here from Shox. All the way in the back.
Ooh, look at that
put in a lot of shots on Mad Cat, then pick up 0, so it's big opening kills there from Shox. should give Mindfreak some early Cathedral control.
Now, Jerd is the only one who survived that last fight for Splyce. He's going to try and to reposition at the top of the map, but now he falls, and you're going to have to push 3 against 4 if you're Splyce here. It seems they may be waiting for Jerd, and they'll be waiting for more. That's 3 down. Fida is going to pick up the 4th. A clean wipe here. Mindfreak is in total control.
And with how far away Shock spawn, that is a huge hold by the 3 players of Mindfreak. Fida, Buzzo, and Excite go absolutely huge. You saw on the mini-map, potentially, if you were looking up in the top left corner of your screen, Shock spawns all the way by the lower market garage,
right,
even further back than that, and the 3 members of Mindfreak able to hold it down. They blow this game open. Now, if they can get control of Broken, this is Mindfreak's game to take.
This is reminding me a little too much, though, of Game 1, where it was Splyce just so lethargic to open it up, and then they all turned on the Jets and took it over in the second rotation. Broken, gonna be a money hill, and early on, it is Splyce collecting it. 10 points and counting as Mindfreak makes their first real attempt to break through. They already picked up 2 in the initial fight, and now they're just gonna steamroll across as Shocks finds 1. This second is spotted. Buzzo any moment should find it as Excite picks up the kills at the top. It's just Bance working with Mad Cat left alive.
Well, somehow 3 players just walked by Jerd there on the side of Mindfreak, and they're able to just get inside of the hard point, pick up 1 kill. Excite on a 5 streak there, trying to locate 1 member. It's gonna be Mad Cat diving on in, but man, Mindfreak has come out here with a vengeance on retaliation hardpoint, up by almost 100 here against Splyce.
Zero and Jerd getting the picks, and they will pick up the final 10 seconds. As I say that, it's actually Excite long range with the NV4, picks off not only Jerd, but finds Mad Cat as well. So it stops the scoring from Splyce after a full rotation. We're going to see total dominance here from Mindfreak regardless of what Splyce is doing, and you are seeing Mad Cat and Bance in your kill feed. They're set up pretty well. Bance is going to push out right. On the other end, you got Jerd watching the far left. And at the back lower street, it's going to be Zero. So all flanks are watched.
Yeah, I mean, they have a great setup here for the hotel hallway. Zero up in that top plat can kind of peek in and out from these windows, eliminate players from Mindfreak trying to get across just like that, able to take out Shocks. And all you do have to do if you're Splyce, don't let Mindfreak get a lot of time here. You know, if you have the potential to take some time here, it's great, but you're really kind of focusing on that next graveyard hardpoint, that 3rd hardpoint of our second rotation to get back into this game.
And this is kind of what I was expecting to see, more than double their opponent's score. Mindfreak, after your first 5 hills, gonna lead 150 to 66. The fight for the bridge about to go down. Excite working down low as Buzzo is trying to challenge up top. Both players eliminated. And Mindfreak, at this point, you just want to see him slow it down, group up, and then hit at once.
Yeah, I mean, Splyce over the last few hard points has made a little bit of a comeback, you know, chipping away. If you're Mindfreak, it's really going to come down to that graveyard and Broken Hill, whether they can hold one of the 2. They cannot afford Splyce to get both of those hard points. You start racking up streaks and score, they'd be in a big trouble.
And look how good Fida has been in the last life. 5 straight kills. He was the only one up. When I said they need to wait and get all 4, he picked up 2 right away. Gave Mindfreak the opportunity. But somehow Splyce keeps scoring. It's the players in the back. Jerd and Mad Cat staying up 0, trying to reinforce, pushing forward. He is going to die once again. Jerd is now finally eliminated, so Mindfreak can gather a bit of time. It's going to be about 166 to 84 as we rotate across the map. Buzzo already in position at the new hardpoint, but he's going to be met by 2 players at the stairs. Splyce will be in first.
We'll see how Mindfreak goes about breaking this hill. You see Excite setting up here, trying to get towards that top plant. You have 2 players trying to go down towards that bottom garage area on the minimap for Mindfreak. It's going to be a big kill here if Excite can pick it up onto Bance. He's able to get 1, Shocks in the feed with another. Excite trying to put this pressure from above, raining down bullets inside of the hill.
Excite is surviving. Buzzo and Fida picking up the kills. Look at your mini-map, though. Splyce setting up on the left side. They don't want to give up the spawns at Cathedral on the next hill, but they do have to challenge down low. You can't let Mindfreak get up to that 200-point mark while you're still in the hundreds.
We'll see the last few seconds of this hardpoint going to be taken by Splyce. They do have control for that next hardpoint. So you see they're going to fall all the way back. They're going to play for a lot of this next hill's time. And if Mindfreak cannot get across the map, pick up these kills, get into market, it's going to be very difficult for them to break.
Jerd on your screen. Chasing down 2. If he finds Fida here, this is going to be big. Now he's got control. Gonna FTL jump, catching Buzzo, who is injured off guard. And now you see Jerd in a one-on-one at Market. That one is going to be won by Excite. So Mindfreak, they can pressure a little bit by Market. The other players will try and push through the middle. Zero knows exactly where the pressure is going to be coming from. They have eyes on bridge. So 2 players up, make it just 1. Zero has his work cut out for him, and it's Mindfreak breaking through.
Yeah, fantastic use of the Scarab there by Shox. They're able to get 1 with it. He follows up with another kill there on Mad Cat. And it'll be Mindfreak getting control of this hill. But you got to be very happy of your Splyce. You can potentially here set up over towards Broken. But Shox does have this active camo. Could potentially use this to break into this next hard point.
An 80-point deficit brought back within 50, now looking more like 60. We're going to Broken though, and this is where Splyce gained their most time in the initial rotation. Setting up early in the back, it's gonna be Bance. He's got Jerd with him at the front. Zero has been spotted behind the box. Shox has camo. Do you use it now, Matt?
I think when you can kind of locate some players and figure out the route you're going to use with camo, you never just blind pop camo. And you see, finds this one player in the back, knew exactly where he was, did not expect the second player to be there, but a perfect use of camo. So you figure out where one player is, you know where maybe another player is on the side of Splyce. You're able to use the camo, pick up 1 easy kill, and break the hill for your team.
Excite and Fida again in your kill feed. 24 kills for Excite. Fida at 26, leading everybody in the lobby. Shox right behind him at 21. The 3-star Slayers for this Mindfreak squad showing up big in a Game 4, trying to force a tiebreaker Game 5. It's going to be Splyce inside Broken for the final 20 seconds. They're going to bring this to 177 to 228.
And this hotel hallway is huge because you do have Splyce. I mean, obviously they're down right now. Mindfreak in control of this game. But Splyce getting very close to some of their payload abilities, specifically active camo. So if they're able to take a ton of this time here, bring it all the way back, going into that bridge, potentially the last hard point in the game, Splyce could use that camo, really kind of take control.
Madcap, pretty incredible stuff there, just out shooting Buzzo while wall running. Buzzo had the drop on him, Madcap punishes, and now he's on a flank. Finds Excite, no one here from Mindfreak is close. The score getting closer and closer with 33 points to go. You could actually see Splyce take the lead here. They got 3 people though crashing in all at once.
Yeah, and Madcat currently on a 5 streak, finding his way inside the hotel. He's gonna put in a lot of shots in Excite. It's gonna pick him up. It's gonna be a 6 streak for Madcat, as Splyce coming back into this game, getting very close to score streaks as well here for Madcat.
And Madcat doesn't want a Scarab. He's going for the big ones. He's looking for the Trinity Rocket, Scorchers, and of course the Bombardment if he can lock them all in. This is a big kill here. Needs just an assist to unlock the Rockets, and they have taken the lead. 230 to 228. Is Mindfreak gonna blow this one? Here comes the streak.
Comes the streaks from Madcat, still on this streak. Just looking for players from the side of Mindfreak. He's gonna get nothing with it, dies during the use. You do have Splyce still getting time, just hovering that missile, letting his teammates pick up a lot of time there inside of the hard point. It's gonna be Mindfreak coming back and taking the lead. You do have Zero with that camo. You do have the Centurion use here for Splyce, and here comes the camo.
You gotta be effective here. Mindfreak needs just 7 more points, at least to contest. 1 up left, and it's Jerd making the plays. Takes out Excite. Can he hold on for 10 seconds? He has 3 players right behind him. All 4 Mindfreak members are gonna come flooding in. This is coming down to the wire.
Yeah, and Madcat does have that Centurion. It's gonna be 2 kills here coming in from Mindfreak. But Jerd and Zero holding it down here for Splyce. It's gonna be Buzzo though, picking up 2 kills. It's gonna be Mindfreak here.
Buzzo did it, Matt!
1 point. They need 1 more point.
Are you kidding me? 1 more hill. It's a mad dash. Mindfreak and Splyce all in. And at the end, it is Mindfreak 250 to 249. Excite getting up, giving the high fives. The Australians are fired up. That could have gone either way. You saw 7 players all sprinting to that final hill.
For a second there, it seemed like both teams thought that the game could end on that hill, so nobody going towards the lower market, but Fight Up comes through the garage at the end, and that is going to be the first respawn game mode lost for Splyce here in the week 1 of the Global Pro League. And going into game 5, Mindfreak definitely has the upper hand in S&D.
And now you have the frustration setting in here for Splyce. I wonder if the mental game is going to come into play at all. But that game so close. Mindfreak, to be honest, for how big of a lead they had there, you can't let a game like that come down to a 6-point finish.
If you're a Splyce, you can't really be that frustrated from getting behind that far and then being, shocked that you end up losing the game. I mean, you just cannot fall that far behind. They did a fantastic job of making the comeback. Mindfreak, they barely hold on, but going into this Game 5, you definitely favor the Australians.
No one has played Splyce closer than what we're seeing Mindfreak do right now. We'll find out, can they complete the upset when we return? And we are back, and we have been in store for some incredible games here on day 3. It's Sunday. Your first one, it was Envy going up against Cloud9. That one went Game 5, Round 11. Now it's Mindfreak's turn to take a shot at the, top squad here in the weekend. It's Splyce, who's looked so good in respawns. They have to now play in a second S&D, and they have not beaten Mindfreak in this game mode yet.
Yeah, Mindfreak has been fantastic in Search and Destroy all weekend long. And just kind of talking to the Australians, just kind of being around the venue, it just seems like they want it like more. Like not like saying like, you know, some of these other teams don't want it. Like obviously everybody wants to top the group, but they just care so much. Like, I mean, when you're the only team from one region, I feel like that kind of has to put a little bit more importance. Like
you have a whole
guys.
country cheering for you.
Right, so I feel like, you know, the APAC region and really kind of getting behind Mindfreak right now, trying to will them to a win here over Splyce.
The Australians are all over Twitter right now cheering on
I don't
their
know, it's
team.
pretty late, I think.
Mindfreak and the boys.
Might even be Monday.
Trying to finish off the upset over Splyce, who has been dominant. They're 4-0 so far on the weekend. The first time around, they thrashed Mindfreak in the respawns. The S&D did go in Mindfreak's favor, though, and as you saw in Game 2, it was 6-1 in favor of Mindfreak.
Yeah, and Splyce, we can take a look at their roster here. Their S&D win rate, 50%. They lose that game to Mindfreak earlier, so you imagine that has dipped down a little bit, and then we just saw them lose their first hardpoint of the weekend.
Yeah, the hardpoint's now around 92%.
I'm not a mathematician, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. Those numbers are totally fake. Maven facts. Here we go. Game 5, though, is loading up right now. We are headed to Throwback, and this is one that Mindfreak caught everybody off guard on day 1, running ERADs up the middle, challenging everybody.
Yeah, they did a good job pressuring towards mid-map, specifically Excite. I think when you look at this map, like we saw in the Envy vs. Cloud9 series, active camo. Slasher had active camo. Cloud9 Aches did not have active camo. That was really kind of the difference towards the later half of that game. Really looking to see if Shox can get off to a great start. You see the win rate in S&D for Mindfreak. It's been fantastic all weekend long.
The key for me here is going to be Fida. Lincoln Ferguson, the man with the ponytail on the main stage. He has been playing his best match so far against Splyce today. Can he keep it up one more time? We know what we're getting out of Shox. Buzzo has been playing pretty decent, but when it comes to S&D, Lincoln needs to be your guy getting some of those first bloods and setting the tone early on.
Yeah, now, you know, going back, you know, towards like the beginning of when I started really kind of pay attention to the APAC region, it was really kind of Shox and Dens, the two players everybody spoke about, and Fido was like that up-and-coming guy. He was like, oh man, we're just waiting to Fido to be eligible, and now that he is, I mean, he has made a huge impact for Mindfreak as a team. Specifically in this series, he has been quite fantastic, so look to see if he can carry over that strong play. Be a huge upset here over Splyce.
Opening things up. We're going to keep our eyes here on Splyce. We'll be having bomb in hand to kick off. Search and destroy. It's game 5, and we're kicking it off with 0 on your screen to open things up. They're going to the top of the map while you're going to see a 4-man stack down low over at A. B is wide open, and this bomb should go down immediately.
Yeah, Mindfreak did this to a team the other day. They went straight towards the top side of the minimap in their first offensive round, catches them completely off guard, and Madcat draws first blood. So a perfect opening round here from Splyce. You get first blood, you get bombed down.
Now Shox is trying to use Buzzo as a distraction, and Shox will be traded out, though. Jerd is there. Buzzo survived his initial engagement, has his health back. Now he's looking for the fight. It's Bance too strong. Last one up, fight a 1v2, make it 1v3 rather, and he will not be able to get much done. Splyce, bomb down in your first 10 seconds. Madcat finds Excite transitioning through the tunnel. And after that, you just play the man advantage. Good team trades.
Yeah, and there is something to say. Obviously, we have a ton of stats. You can see who's favored in this matchup, but this is a huge match, probably one of the bigger ones for Mindfreak in the last year or so. There's definitely something in a clutch factor in a Game 5 scenario that the Splyce guys, I mean, they've been there before in this type of situation. Mindfreak, they definitely played in their fair share of Game 5s. And nothing as of late this important.
Shox with a nice flank here. Shows himself as you saw the aggressive push coming from Splyce. They tried to wrap around. The other 3 Mindfreak players went down towards A, and Bance is trying to stall them out from planting, trying to buy some time for Madcat and Zero to get over. But it's first blood to Mindfreak. They have the advantage. Will they find a second pick now?
I think they're just trying to get another player out of position here for Splyce. Zero knows where 2 players have located. He's going to drop down here towards the middle. Going to be able to pick up one. Fantastic play there from Zero.
And you got to wonder what went wrong for Mindfreak. Why were they unable to get the bomb down under the bridge? They had 2-man advantage. Everything looks safe aside from Bance being up close and personal. Now you got a tie game. Bomb still hasn't been planted. 30 seconds left. Bance tagged up. Buzzo looking or excuse me, it's Excite trying to finish the kill. Vance is gonna drop behind, and Fida trades out with a teammate, unfortunately. Just 18 seconds left. It's a 2-on-2, Mad Cat and Zero left alive, and it's gonna be Splyce holding strong with the 2-0 start.
That was a bad round for Mindfreak. I mean, you get first blood, you have bomb right on the bomb site, you run away, you team kill. I mean, it's just not very good for Mindfreak there. And you know, in a game 5, I mean, you look back, I know Mindfreak, they lose a game 5 to Cloud9 at Dallas, and then going all the way back to Atlanta, even for pool play, Mindfreak gets in a lot of game 5 scenarios and not able to clutch up there. So, and that mental factor coming into play. I mean, you're getting a lot of game 5s, you're not able to clutch up. The first 2 rounds don't go your favor. See if they can bounce back.
Bushette grenades come flying in. Fida tries to challenge, but the kills are traded out. Buzzo did find first blood on Mad Cat. Now Bance is gone for Splyce. So it's a 3-on-2. Mindfreak on defense, holding strong. And that bomb carrier just trying to survive. In comes Excite as he makes it a 2-on-1 and gives his team the lead. Solid play on defense. All 8 players crashing at the same part of the map. The grenade stalled it out, and then the aggressive play seemed to just be working out here for MF.
Yeah, Excite goes and challenges the bomb as Jerd is reloading. Jerd able to pick him up, but then he has no option. Knows there's players on both sides. Needs to slide through, get bomb, and then potentially pick up Buzzo. But Buzzo with some easy shots, able to take Jerd out there at the end.
So Buzzo holds his own at 2-2. Shocks 2-1. Basically everyone around even here contributing for Mindfreak. On the other side, Mad Cat, the only player with 3 kills in the game.
You see mid-map control going to go towards Mindfreak, but they expect there to be a little bit of a fight in this situation, but nobody coming from Splyce except Jerd on this long flank.
And Vance is challenging 2 down low, trades out 1. Jerd is gonna flank, find Buzzo. Manage advantage to Splyce once again. Excite roaming across the map, trying to get over to his buddy Shocks, but he's way too late. Shocks is picked 1v3, executed Zero, wiping everybody off the map. As it's Splyce now 3 rounds away from staying perfect here on week 1.
Yeah, and it was a good mid-map attempt there from Mindfreak, but it was Splyce. Just sometimes somebody just picks a better strat than you or just calls a better call, and they go all the way on a flank with Jerd. He's able to pick up 1 kill, opens it all up for Splyce.
All right, Matt, let's get hyped, buddy. It's game 5. You ready?
I'm pretty ready, yeah. I mean, it's 3-1 already in favor of Splyce.
I see what's going to happen, though. You're going to have Shocks just turn up. He forgot to do it early on.
And he's pretty far away from Camo right now. He needs to play a little bit better.
Jerd looking for the early picks with the ERAD. The trades come in. Jerd's going to find a both. Shocks and Excite canceled out by Jerd's ERAD. Fantastic SMG play. Bomb is down safely. Now it's a 2-on-2. Fida and Buzzo left alive for Mindfreak, trying to chase down Mad Cat and Zero.
And you have Fida trying to clear out this bomb site. Knows exactly where one player is. Your MF, you probably think there's one player potentially behind that bus as well, and you see Buzzo, that's exactly where he's going to clear out. Nobody home, it's gonna be Mad Cat watching the cross, able to pick him up. It's gonna be Fida forcing a 1v1, not able to win it. It'll be Splyce winning yet another round.
And it's Zero again in your round-ending kill cam. I understand the lack of hype here for Mindfreak. It's not looking good at the middle of the map. That was their strength when they played Cloud9 on day 1, but they kind of showed that strat early. Splyce seems to be paying attention to it. Jerd ready every single round to cancel them out, at least while they're attacking. Here comes Mindfreak, though, and you're going to see a sniper put away. Excite thought about it, but instead they're going to go with the K-Bar. They want to win just the AR fight up top.
Yeah, this is not a position to bring a sniper rifle out, but a very interesting call. No fear here out of MF. As they push all the way through the site, it's going to be 1 kill for Shocks, 1 for Excite. A very nice strat here from Mindfreak.
Mindfreak getting aggressive, throwing off the Europeans. Bance, though, staying alive somehow. Guns 1, guns 2. This now a 1 versus 2 for Mad Cat. Mindfreak stays alive, and you got to appreciate the play calls while they continue to throw unique strats to catch off their opponents. Splyce is back on the attack, though, and they've been very successful in their last 2 attempts.
I mean, to be quite frank, I don't think anyone would have expected that, to just kind of push players directly through bike path, past bomb. I mean, especially at the beginning of a round, that is one that, I mean, if there's one player over by Lemon, I mean, they're going to pick up 2-3 kills potentially.
Zero has a camo here. Not quite on match point, but will he decide to pull it out? You see Mindfreak, they stack the top of the map, going for B. It's going to be Fida watching a far flank. The rest of his teammates checking every single corner as they try and move up. Buzzo is going to rotate back to Fida, so they're going to split into duos here. Shock's working next to Excite.
We'll see how Mindfreak opens this up. Shock's going through bowling. Not able to locate one player. It's going to be Bance getting first blood. Excite evens it up. They need to get these players out of the back. You see Bance with yet another kill towards the middle of the map. It's going to be MF clearing out Bus. Now they know at least one player's behind. It's the same spot that Madcap played last time. It's going to be Excite trying to get forward. He's going to fall, and it'll be Splyce 1 round away from taking this series.
And the difference maker there, it looked like Shocks and Excite were going to win their duo battle, but Buzzo and Fida unable to get anything done at the bottom half of the map. Splyce holds strong, Bance at 0. Looking solid in this one. We're going to a match point now for Splyce. And they will be on the defensive end. Mindfreak last time on attack just flooded into A, looped behind, and caught their opponents off guard. And you can see Splyce recognizing it, positioning Madcat in the far back, not allowing it to happen 2 times in a row.
I mean, he was in that position last round. He would have picked up a few kills. You see Shocks coming through the mid-cut. He's able to get 1 and stay alive. 0, though, uses that camo, gets into position. He's able to get 1. Knows there's players around the corner. Bance gets 1 kill as well. He'll be the only one alive here in a 1v2.
Mindfreak needs this. They have the man advantage. Buzzo's been tagged up. Excuse me, it's Excite. He's going to challenge for a moment there. And Buzzo was not in position to trade, so that could have been costly. Instead, though, Bance has to roam around the map. He finds them both, takes out Buzzo, gets his health back. Now here comes a challenge, and he's going to win it. Bance clutching up. And it is Splyce going 5-0 with their match count so far this weekend.
Some fantastic shots by Bance there to clean up Buzzo in the 1v2 situation. I was going to say he had reactive armor as well, doesn't even need to use it. Splyce remains undefeated on the weekend.
And Mindfreak, they're going to drop the second search and destroy after dominating Crusher. Things just didn't go as planned here on Throwback. What was really causing the problems for him this time around, Matt?
I think, look, a lot went right on Throwback the other day for Mindfreak. They kind of went with some of the same strats, pushed towards the mid-map, and you didn't see Splyce really fall for it. They played back by Lemon. They sent guys on flanks. They didn't really fight them towards the middle of the map, which was Mindfreak's strength the other day.
Mindfreak, they got to be a bit bummed by the loss here, but they should also be proud for giving Splyce their toughest run so far this weekend. Mindfreak currently sitting in that number 3 spot. We'll play Cloud9 a little bit later, but I know everyone is starting to think about that upcoming match of Splyce versus Envy to close out the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic match. I think Envy, look, in their first match against Splyce, they got outclassed. You know, Splyce played phenomenal, but I think it's a different Envy team we've seen past that point. They've been clicking this weekend so far.
Does Splyce have a weakness, Matt?
I think their weakness is their search and destroy. I mean, they clutch up and win that game 5, but clearly that is their weakest game mode.
All right, well, let's hear from our experts. Ben, I'd love to hear from you and crew. What do you think Splyce needs to work on in particular?
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you very much, Matt. And, you know, just talking a little bit about what Splyce needs to do to improve, I think Matt kind of hit the nail on the head there. I think their search and destroy is definitely their weaker game mode, especially considering coming into that series, they were 100% in respawn. They hadn't lost a hard point. They hadn't lost an uplink either. But we'll break down that series, of course. Map number 1, it was pretty dominating for Splyce and their hard point. And I guess that begs the question, why have they been so dominant throughout this weekend in hardpoint?
I mean, it's just when they put this roster together, they put 4 very talented players, some of the best in Europe, and at any point, any one of them can go off, and you've seen it all weekend long. They all just take turns. It's very hard to outslay them, and when it's hard to outslay a team, well, it's very difficult to beat them on hardpoint. You can just tell. They're just so talented, and they're always taking an early advantage and making it tough to come back on them.
And then it's interesting when you look at the Mindfreak side of things, because you looked at that hard point leaderboard throughout the series, and Shocks, he sat pretty number 1, 1.19. There's a few other Mindfreak players that made it into that top 10, yet they're currently sat with, I believe it's like an 11% win ratio on the map moment. What's been going wrong for them?
Yeah, I mean, their hard points have actually been pretty close. I'm going to give them a bit more credit than I think it was the 11%, because that is really poor, whether that's, 1 out of 8 or whatever it may be. But yeah, Mindfreak for me, they've had close games, but it's having that composure to close out, a hard point. It's not just a series. That first initial hard point, it's really difficult, to do that against some of these teams. I think they did it once against Cloud9, but against the likes of Envious and Splyce, they are being outslayed. And it's very hard to win a respawn game, whether it's uplink, whether it's hardpoint, when you are being outslayed. And I think that sometimes goes down to, we saw Map 1 Buzzo have a bit of an off game, and we've seen that throughout, Mindfreak kind of time here, really. But I think they just need to kind of go toe-to-toe on the slaying side of things. They will be fine, but it's a difficult one here.
And I guess that's an interesting point, Karma. How do you actually improve when it comes to just toe-to-toe and slaying? I mean, what can you do as a player to improve that?
Well, I mean, you just got to spawn in and really focus on slaying. But for me, this match, it seemed like Splyce is really good at Scorch Hardpoint, and Mindfreak might not be as good. I think we've seen Splyce win every Scorch Hardpoint this weekend. I could be wrong, but
yeah.
I think they have. Retaliation, I don't know, but I mean, I just really think that if Mindfreak spends some time here, like you guys have said, all their hard points have been close. They have people at the top of the leaderboards in kills, so they're doing something right, but they're just not finishing. Like, they're getting all the way to the finish line, but then they're just letting up just a little bit, and that's the difference in some of these games.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it in game number 4. Again, they come out hot. They win first rotations. First rotation of Hills big time, and then they allow Splyce to get back into the game.
Right.
They don't rotate. They use some of their payloads a little bit too early, and that went down to the wire, and that just seems to be sort of the story of their week 1. It's just not finishing hard points.
Of course, map number 2, it was Mindfreak that took it 6-1 in what was, to be frank, vintage Australian search and destroy. Merc, I know if you go back to, I think it was 2014 Immunity versus Envy, you felt the wrath of the Australian search and destroy. Why are they so good at search?
I think we've sort of talked about it. They constantly switch it up. Sort of when you've watched Search and Destroy this year, teams seem to have 1 or 2 strats, and they just stick to it, and if it doesn't work, well, they keep doing it. They don't switch it up as much, where Mindfreak, they're constantly either picking up the pace, going to a different bomb site. They're always switching it up.
And it's interesting because I made this point, while the guys were casting. To me, you look at Mindfreak, and it reminds me of teams like, TK and Black Ops 2. You've got your Optic Nations and Ghost, your TRs and AW, your Elevates even in Black Ops 3. They're kind of almost reliant on their search and destroy, and they are so talented. And Karma, obviously, you've been watching all weekend. Is there anything kind of that stands out to you when you look at Mindfreak in their search?
Well, one of the biggest things, what Joe said, they're always changing it up. And in that series, it kind of, I want to say it bit them in the, behind. But like throwback, they did some of the same strategies as Matt and Puckett pointed out. They 3-hit B-cut again on throwback.
Mm-hmm.
Crusher, they did the same strategies they did. The one round they lost, I believe they 3-hit B, and one guy camped deep in the defensive spawn, which I was like, okay, that's kind of neat if they decided to push through middle and flank. But they're doing a really good job at that, and like I said, if they improve in their respawns, they definitely could be a force to be
reckoned with, absolutely. Yeah. And then you look at map number 3, of course, you go back to that respawn, it's uplink, still Splyce unbeaten. For Mindfreak, it is their better respawn, it definitely looked like. They went in, obviously, 50% win ratio in terms of that, and I mean, that was just a crazy, crazy game, Merc.
Yeah, I mean, that was just back and forth, and we saw some payload usage, and you could tell Mindfreak knew that first half of overtime that we have to score quick because they knew Zero still had camo and they still had reactive payloads to use for Splyce, so you could see they were popping overdrive early on. They were trying to get a score as quickly as possible. Just a few wrong plays, few wrong decisions, taking different routes just ended up in the loss.
Yeah, and for me, that map, I think Mindfreak should have won going, I mean, it shouldn't even have went to overtime. For me, four specialists going into the last minute, and somehow Splyce has the ball, and they end up scoring. And it forced Mindfreak to really have to use their specialists. They go into OT, they have the camo, and then there's that crazy interception. And the only other thing I'd like to point out is how Splyce's uplinks have started. This, once again, they get 4 dead or 3 dead right off the break. They should have scored in about 20 seconds, which to me I think is like their average score time in an uplink. They go, they get a couple kills, they score. This time it didn't happen right off the break. It took one more set of kills, and I believe Jerd ends up scoring in their base. So if I were teams, I would look at Splyce's breakoffs on all these uplinks, and I would try replicating it because so far they're doing a really good job at starting the uplink. And I think you also have to say that Mindfreak played that map pretty well. You never saw, such as in other series, where they were out of position. They were always ready to counter the moves that Splyce were trying to make.
As you mentioned, map number 3 was definitely chaotic. I believe we can send it down to TP on the Telestrator to break down some of the plays.
Thank you so much, guys. And we talked a lot about how Mindfreak just can't close these games out perfect situation to explain exactly that point, right? It should have even gone to overtime. You need to take a second in those last moment situations, especially versus these tier 1 teams. You can't give them a chance to clutch, but that's exactly what happened. So, going to break this down a little bit on Frost in the last, 20 seconds or so for you. We see these players lined up. Mindfreak has the drone on this wall right inside on the top of the map you see there. Basically, they get the drone into Shox' hands, obviously, because he has that everlasting camo, right? So Fida is going to push up, be the lead blocker. He gets taken out, but that's perfectly fine. He buys enough time to allow Shox to get up this wall run. And here's where the mistake happens. Shox gets around right here. He has the camo popped. He has, a good second and a half or so left of camo. And you see these 2 players on the portal right there from Splyce. They jump up, both of them. He could have just waited just a second, jumped a little bit to the right, anything to angle himself just a bit better to get that drone into the portal right there in the last couple of seconds. But no, the interception happens. It goes right into Jerd's hands, or maybe Zero. I can't remember exactly. We'll see the clip here. But the panic situation happens. He doesn't take that second to just realize what the better play is. He gets punished for it, and that's what allows it to go to overtime and lets Jerd get that FTL kill in middle, and it all sort of falls apart for them. So Mindfreak obviously shows that they belong here. We'll roll this clip right now so you guys can see. But basically, drone goes back into Mindfreak's hands. They have plenty of time. They just need to take a breath. They get the pass off right there. Fumbles a little bit. It's all good. You have the time. Finally gets into Shox' hands. You see that camo? Plenty of time, and he throws it right away. He could have waited just that extra sort of second for those players to drop. He doesn't do it. It ends up in the tie, and this is those little game-changing plays that allows these tier 1 teams like Splyce to keep that win rate so positive in uplink, and you have to put the dagger in, nail in the coffin. Mindfreak belongs, but it's just going to take a little bit more to get those wins here. So that's all I got here. Back to the desk, guys.
Thank you very much, Teep. Fantastic breakdown there of that crazy, crazy closing moments. Then, of course, we go over to map number 4, and we're sat thinking, all right, well, Splyce, they're unbeaten in Respawn. This is probably going to be GG. We can probably just get ready to break down this series. But no, somehow, some way, Mindfreak fight back. And I think one of the key points throughout that was actually the specialist usage over towards the broken side that Mindfreak were just so good at.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell that they were able to break Grave, especially on that second rotation. They were able to break that graveyard, and that allowed them, 20, 30 seconds to sort of extend that lead. Splyce rotates to graveyard. They have both reactive and camo. They pop both of it, allows them to break broken, but, I mean, they allowed Splyce to re-break them, get that hallway control, and then take it to bridge, and that's where things got very chaotic.
It was like just specialist uses absolutely everywhere, Comer. And then, I mean, the bridge hill ends at 249, and you're sat there going, oh my god. Then you just see every arrow on the minimap just starting sprinting towards the next hard point. It was crazy. How do you react like that as a player?
So, I mean, we've had a couple moments like this on this map, and if I were sitting here in this situation and all of this goes down, whatever, Krim would have probably been yelling at us after this, like, we have 3 people on the hill, why didn't one of you guys rotate? He'd be saying that. That's just... It's a really close scenario. I mean, look, you got 4 Splyce players. You think you win this right here, right? But Excite comes in, I believe, and he FTLs over top of them, gets a big kill, and it goes down to 1 point left, It's a tough scenario, and then it was just a foot race to whoever can get to the second hill first.
Yeah, and for me as well, just kind of pointing out, there was 4 points you needed from that, and there was 17 seconds. You don't rotate at that point. You try and win the game. You try and close it out. And it was something that we were watching, especially. We watched the payloads, absolutely everything. FTL was coming in, and it caught me off guard. I was watching the game. I didn't have to focus on anything else. And I was like, whoa, we're going to lower street. Who's the first there? I look at the market, and then I think, oh, Mindfreak's got it. They slide in, but it gets contested. And then at that point, it is literally the next kill wins. It does, of course, go to Mindfreak, but what a way to turn up, and what a time to turn that 11% hardpoint round.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was going to say, going back to the specialist usage, when Mindfreak was trying to break that broken hill, right, they have the camo and the kinetic, of course, as Joe said. But when we saw the camo play, we were like, okay, good. It's 190 to about 130-ish. You break this hill, you're back in the game, and then they get all the kills, and we switch to, I think it was Shox, and you see him using kinetic, and we're like, oh no, you use both of them, and then later on in the game, it almost cost them, really. You gotta really be careful when you get those specialists early, not to use them too early.
And then, of course, you head over to that game 5, and we're thinking, all right, realistically, Mindfreak have a fantastic chance here of taking this off Splyce. Splyce hadn't actually beaten them in Search and Destroy. And then it was as if they crumbled Merc. It's as if the game 5 pressure, they're maybe just not ready for yet, I guess.
It just seemed like Splyce were just sticking to their guns. They constantly went to that A bomb site, planting the bomb, and they just felt very comfortable in 4v4 sort of post-plant situations. Just seemed like Mindfreak couldn't embrace sort of that bus bowling alley setup. They tried switching it up. I mean, I would have just liked to see Mindfreak try to take control of middle map more. You know, Excite with that E-Rad, he's been making big plays on throwback, search and destroy, but they just let, you know, Splyce have that A bomb site, and they were very comfortable planning there.
Well, yeah, to me, it almost seemed predictable from Mindfreak, and I think Splyce knew something because Mindfreak never went middle. They kept, you know, putting a lot of pressure on the B side of the map over near the B cut, and you know, Splyce didn't go for it. They sent Jared middle. He was ready for it. The one round we almost see him get a huge 3-piece. But yeah, just good plays by Splyce and Mindfreak. You know, if they change it up a little bit, contested mid or the bomb site down at A, it could have gone their way.
Well, 2 games in the books, and congratulations, of course, to Splyce for 2 Game 5s as well. But we talked a little bit yesterday about the All-Star matchup. Of course, that's going to be happening at Anaheim. We also caught up with our players asking exactly who they think should be in that matchup. Let's take a look.
I think I should be an all-star because I can easily draw 50 bombs. I'm feeling confident going into those matches, and you know, I'm gonna put on a show. You know how I rock.
I want to be in the all-star game just to show off my gameplay that's not in the actual tournament, just to play with other American players, European players, and just to share what the whole region's got to offer.
I feel like I should be an all-star because the pain I have to endure from carrying Pat all the time is just, I need a break.
Why should I be an all-star at Anaheim?